Oh God, these stairs. So I wanted to do a little video on my trip to Rome. I'm at my home airport. I'm about to go through TSA. It's a little after 11 a.m. I have 3 flights today. Waiting for my first flight. I'm grabbing some lunch. I have not eaten all day.
There was no discussion.
Next flight does not board for another 45 minutes or so. I'm going to Philadelphia, and I do not know why there's so many people here right now. It's giving me claustrophobia. I needed to interject and put a little clip here to explain some stuff because things got really chaotic really quick and I wasn't filming in the moment. I had to take 3 flights to get to Rome, and the first one went smooth to Charlotte. After that, I had to go from Charlotte to Philadelphia and then Philadelphia to Rome. So my flight to Philadelphia got delayed quite a bit, about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. So I ended up missing my flight to Rome. So I ended up getting rebooked on a flight to Madrid. They were literally almost done boarding when my transfer finally went through. But because of that, I did not get my bag on that plane. And I didn't get my bag for like a day and a half once I landed. So instead of landing around 9 a.m., I did not get there until noon. The person that I was meeting landed around 11. So instead of me waiting 2 hours for them, they had to just wait 1 hour for me. So that worked out well. At the end of this video, I'm going to do another one of these little clips to explain the trip home because that trip really got crazy. So stay tuned for that. Okay, I don't know when I updated last, but my second flight of the day was delayed. So I missed my flight from Philadelphia to Rome. I got rebooked on a flight to Madrid, and now I'm here in Madrid. And I have to take another flight to Rome. It is 9:30 in the morning here in Spain. And I have to take this train to Terminal 1. Do we have a view? Nice bed. Big sink. Toilet. Here's a closet with a safe. So it's like 8 p.m. and I slept the whole day away, and we're about to go get some dinner. This is the elevator we have to ride on. All right, here's my day 3, but this is really the first day we're doing anything. We're going to get brunch. It's a little after 12 p.m. There's the Colosseum, and it's right near our little restaurant here. We're sitting at this little bar top where we can people watch. And I didn't even realize we have a full view of the Colosseum. We're gonna see if we can get to the Pantheon before the last admission. Looks like we gotta walk under this tunnel here. It's about a 20-minute walk from our hotel. All right, here's the Trevi Fountain. We're gonna go back tonight when it's not crowded. And they just recently started charging. It's only like €2 per person. But that's if you go during like the daytime. I think up until 9:30 maybe. We're gonna go after that, and I don't think you have to pay. which we don't care about paying €2. We just want to go and there's not as many people. This is so pretty. We're going down all these little alleyways and ancient roads. All right, we're here in this plaza. There's an obelisk. And here's the Pantheon. We found the Disney store in Rome. Here's a big Stitch. Looks like they have some Hello Kitty stuff in here too. Here's a Wednesday statue. Wall of stuffies. Some Alice in Wonderland stuff. We're just browsing in this covered shopping area. I just went to the pharmacy to get some skin cream, which I wanted to do anyways, but I left mine at home. So I definitely needed to buy some more. All right, you're allowed to drink now.
Sorry?
We're at the Trevi Fountain. Trying to get closer for a picture. After 10 p.m. you can go down to the basin for free, but before that you have to pay €2 per person. Heading back to the hotel. Okay, what floor are we? 3?
2.
All right, it's another late day. It's like 12:30. We're just now going just to get lunch. We skipped breakfast. All right, and we're at L'Antica Pizzeria di Trevi, which is near that fountain. I love you. All right, we're done with lunch. We're gonna go do the Pantheon since we got there too late yesterday. And we're back here by the fountain, which it's a total madhouse. All right, we finally made it to the Pantheon. Did you get the tickets? All right, and here outside the Pantheon is an Egyptian obelisk. Here at this fountain. We're in line here to buy tickets. Showing some of the details. Or you can buy your tickets here. There's a separate line if you want to pay with cash, and then you can also get them online. They're €5. I googled, and this is 1,901 years old. It was built in 125 AD. You do have to take your hat off to enter. Alright, they have the tomb of Raphael Santi. Here's another obelisk with Egyptian hieroglyphics on it. Here's another monument. I'm gonna have to look up what these are, and I can probably put the name on the screen later. And we are approaching the Spanish Steps. This street leading up to it has all the luxury stores on it, like Dior, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Prada, Van Cleef, stuff like that. Here's this fountain directly across from the stairs. Here's another monument. It has what looks to be some gods. There's this mask here. I can see from here that the sign says Venus. On the way to the hotel, we're going to go to a fancy McDonald's here in Rome.
This we're supposed to come to.
Here's a little sign that says this was the first McDonald's restaurant in all of Italy. It opened on March 20th of 1986. There's a tablet here. I have no idea what it says. I can point out a few words, but not many. Does this elevator not give anybody else Tower of Terror vibes? Here it's coming. It got the dust and everything. Or authentic haunted elevator vibes. Pizza again for dinner. Gnocchi. We're gonna have some gelato for dessert. I think I'm gonna get the toffee and the lemon pie. You can get more than one scoop. That Snicker one looks really good. Alright, it's our final day sightseeing, and we're at St. Peter's Basilica. We're gonna get in line here. Looks like you have to do like almost like an airport security screening up here. Here's the big screens you can watch the mass on.
Andiamo a vedere lì.
Alright, we're gonna start exploring this.
Shows like real estate scenes.
All these chairs. They have the confessionals here in different languages.
È veramente cosa buona e giusta al nostro dovere che la vittoria sul nostro
And I guess they're
peccato
holding a
ci
mass,
renda
even though there's
disponibili alle necessità del
people
popolo,
touring
a imitazione della tua volontà.
the rest of the building.
E noi uniti al tuo pianto cantiamo a una sola voce nella tua gloria.
Here's a list of all the prior popes. There's a museum here, but it is apparently closed to get some work done on it.
Wait, Miss.
Alright, if you take the elevator, you only have to do like 330 some odd steps. If you don't, you have to do like 500 or 550. We took the elevator because we're very short on time at this point. So More narrow steps. These stairs are very narrow and steep. Oh my gosh. We made it. Whew. That was a workout. There's even some rating up here. I think that's where we're gonna go next. Somewhere over here. Alright, now we're about to go down. Oh God, these stairs. They have a little souvenir shop here. Holy water. Alright, I got my little magnet souvenir. Here's some old remains. Okay, here's some tombs of popes. This one's from 1294 to 1303. That one looks newer. It doesn't have a plaque on it. That I can see at least. Pope Paul VI. He passed in 1978. Tomb of Queen Christina of Sweden. That's this one. Pope Benedict, who passed in 2013. decorated wall. They have like a plexiglass or actual glass to protect it. We definitely came at a good time because it is a lot busier now. I think we were here by like 9. Here's the courtyard.
A museum 500 years ago. As you can see right over here, I am trying to find a solution. Use this.
It's the Hall of Animals. These are all made out of marble. The ceiling is actually flat. It's just painted, although it looks like there's like carvings and stuff up there. It's just an illusion. Here's some old tapestries. This is the gallery of maps.
They moved outside the Vatican, very close, just before the Santangelos, but the studios remained inside.
Alright, heading to the Sistine Chapel. You cannot take pictures or videos though, so I won't have any footage of that. After having pizza again for lunch, we have made it to the Colosseum finally. Here's from the ground level. Here's the view from the second level. Here's another angle.
비석 바로 앞에 검은 거. 앉아 있어.
Here's an outside shot. I'm at my gate. I'm not even gonna board for like another 2 hours. The plane that I'm gonna get on is about to land in like 10 minutes. Anywho, I'm gonna have to do like a summary at the end of this video. I'm actually flying home on a completely different airline, and it's partially due to this snowstorm that Philadelphia is about to get. My plane is over here, and I still am not boarding for another hour and a half or so, maybe a little less. To wrap up this video, I just wanted to explain what happened with my trip home, because that got really crazy as well, which led to me having to pay $3,000 out of pocket when my original fare was only $1,000 round trip. So the first thing that got crazy was like the day after I arrived, I got a notification that my flight was canceled and it wasn't going to be rebooked for 2 days after the original date. So that was super weird. So I got that sorted out. I got rebooked on a flight that would get me home on my original day that I was supposed to get home. Well, then flash forward a few days when it was time to go. Apparently there was some big snowstorm that was supposed to hit Philadelphia. So they started canceling my flights again. And again, those weren't going to get me home for 2 more days. So I ended up rebooking on United Airlines out of pocket like hours before going home. That cost me almost $2,000 right there. I was going to have 2 legs on that flight. I had to go to Washington, D.C., and then my home airport. So on the flight from Rome to Washington, D.C., which was like 11 and a half hours, I think that was my longest flight ever, I get a notification that my second flight was canceled. I thought the whole airport must have been shut down because of this storm was also hitting Washington, D.C. a little bit. When I got there, everybody else's flights were still going. So I ended up booking a flight with Allegiant that got me home the same night around the same time as my original flight. So in the end, I got home on the same day because I had to buy the United and then the Allegiant. That cost me about $2,000 extra. I'm still in the process of getting reimbursed for some of that. I did get $1,000 back so far. So now I'm down to $2,000 out of pocket. My goal is to get me down as close as possible to the original amount, which was like $1,000. I'm still working on that. I have some credit card protections. I had a little bit of insurance, stuff like that. So I'm going through the process to get my reimbursements. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.